Good morning, and I want to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the territory of the Lekwungen speaking peoples, the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations, and I'm honored to be here on their traditional territories. I'm also joined today by Nicolas Jimenez, President and CEO of ICBC, and together we'll take your questions in a few moments. For some time, we've been talking about changes at ICBC and how they're going to help make people's auto insurance premiums and in turn their lives more affordable. Today, the rubber hits the road. What we're here to do is to introduce an improved online tool that will let you estimate just how much you'll save when you renew your vehicle insurance under enhanced care. You'll recall that last month we talked generally about how when enhanced care comes into effect on May 1st, customers who purchase both basic and optional insurance from ICBC will save on average 20%. As well, we noted that most customers will also be eligible for a one-time prorated enhanced care refund. The online estimator lets you find out what those savings are going to mean for you personally. It's live now at icbc.com/enhanced care. That's icbc.com/enhanced care. What it will do is show you how much you'll save under enhanced care versus what you paid last time. And if you're eligible, it will also display a refund amount of the difference between your current auto plan coverage and the new lower cost enhanced care coverage. Those refunds will be issued between May and July after enhanced care coverage comes into effect. That refund amount depends in part on your renewal date and how much of your current policy falls after May 1st when enhanced care comes into effect. The tool is very user-friendly. All you need is have your driver's license and your plate number. And as you use the tool, you can also look at how changes that you may want to make to your coverage will affect your savings and premiums. For example, if you have a new driver in the family who's going to be driving your vehicle, or you want to add or adjust optional coverage. A couple more things. You can rely on this tool to give you an estimate that's accurate based on the information you put in and at the time you use it. This tool will be able to handle up to 1,000 users at one time, or about 6,000 people an hour. And we will expect that it will take 10 minutes or so for someone to do their calculations and to log off. Even if you're user number 1001, you'll still be able to estimate your refund while you wait for your user volume to decrease. One last bit of news. Depending on how you use your personal vehicle, you may be able to save even more money than the calculator shows. For example, if you don't drive a lot, you may be eligible for a low kilometer discount. Your auto plan broker can walk you through these extra saving options when you renew your auto insurance. In closing, I want to reiterate that the biggest decrease in basic insurance rates in 40 years and a large decrease in optional liability rates aren't the only great things ahead, which you can now see for yourself through this estimator tool. If you're injured in a crash, ICBC's new enhanced care coverage will mean significantly improved care and recovery benefits regardless of fault. We're making affordability and caring for people a priority, and more than ever, ICBC is going to reflect that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. As a reminder to everybody on the phone line, please press *1 to enter the queue. You'll be limited to one question and one follow-up only. Our first question today comes from Lisa Houston, News 1130.
I'm wondering how much you're estimating in rebates are going to go out in total in the province.
Well, obviously it will depend on the number of people renewing their insurance, but we're expecting on average about 20% savings for individuals, and that should on average be about $400.
Do you have a follow-up, Lisa?
I was looking more me to give a bank total for how much it's going to be across the board for the corporation.
You speak up.
I was not referring to each person. That number has been quite clear. I was referring to how much in total this is going to cost ICBC.
Okay. I'll ask our CEO of ICBC to provide that number for you. Nicolas?
Sure. I think when we launched the program a year ago, we were intending that the savings would be somewhere in around the $1.5 billion, and that's to the system overall. So that's what we think enhanced care is going to cost less in terms of the delivery and the cost of auto insurance.
Next question is from Yvette Brand, CBC.
Minister Farnworth, one thing that everybody's wondering about right now, with all the rule breaking around COVID, is it a time, are you considering increasing fines for people that are breaking the rules and doing things that the provincial health officer is asking them not to do at this point?
The vast majority of people in this province are in fact obeying the rules. There's a fine structure in place. It is being realigned with the Emergency Program Act, which will allow for fines that can be issued under the Emergency Program Act, which in fact can go up to $10,000. Plus the police, depending on the circumstances, have the ability to lay charges under various statutes that can result in significant penalties, particularly as we've seen situations in some cases where people have gotten abusive or violent. So the fine structure is there. I can tell you that up to date, I think over 650 tickets have been issued, and I think an additional 80 tickets under the Quarantine Act have been issued.
Yvette, do you have a follow-up?
Given that Dr. Bonihon, you described us on a precipice, and we've seen kind of a high-profile case of two individuals flouting the rules and actually flying to a territory to try to get a vaccine. How do you react to this just personally?
Well, frankly, I think what we saw yesterday of individuals flying to Yukon was probably one of the most despicable things that I've seen in a long time. It shows a complete lack of any sort of ethical or moral compass on people who would do such a thing. And as we've also seen, they have paid a pretty high price, losing a $10 million a year job, as they should.
Next question is from Richard Ziswin, Global News.
Minister Farnworth, I'm wondering where you're at with the COVID-related ICBC rebate, and if I could get a sense from Mr. Jimenez about approximately how much money has been saved at ICBC. We haven't yet seen the Q2 financials. I'm just wondering if we can get an update on the financial situation at the public insurer.
Yeah, on that first part of the question, you will be hearing about the COVID rebate very soon. As I've said, I've had some options before me. There's the Treasury Board cabinet process, but it will be coming very soon.
Richard, do you have a follow-up?
I was hoping to get a financial update from Mr. Jimenez, but I also need to ask Minister Farnworth about an extension to what Yvette was asking about. We've seen instances at a gathering in downtown Vancouver where a condo owner has now been ticketed 4 different times for holding parties in excess of 100 people, and he continues to get levied with the same fine. Is there any way the province can get tougher in terms of an escalator or more severe penalties than a fine? Because clearly this individual either has a lot of money or is charging people to come to these parties and is in essence writing it off when he receives those fines.
This individual, what we saw happening at that particular condo, again, is unacceptable, and the individual is fined and ticketed. That may also change in terms of reviewing what else has been taking place, and they could face further charges. As I've said, we have reviewed the fines and punishments from time to time. And as I said, they have been realigned under the Emergency Program Act, which it does allow for higher penalties up to about $10,000. But also, the police will be looking at what other potential charges can be laid against this individual.
Nicolas, would you like to answer Richard's initial question?
Sure. Well, the net income that we put out in our Q2 is about $410 million. What we're working with government right now is to obviously finalize Q3 and then to isolate what portion of our net income, which is higher than planned, is attributable to COVID. So I think those numbers will be available, as the Minister said, in the very near future.
Those are all the questions we have this morning. Thank you for joining us.